Cole Cubelic, a Homewood, Alabama legend, I believe is the hometown for our Friday regular guest, brought to us by Tex Morris, a proud Auburn alum, and right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway, a part of Edward Jones. Tex Morris brings you Cole Cubelic every Friday here on Off the Bench. Homewood, is that the hometown? Is that right?
That's where I am. That's where I am right now. Yeah.
Dude. Cole Cubelic. Cole, sad news to start. Well, not sad in the sense of Coach Dye is gone, but he has been hospitalized with COVID-19. You played at Auburn. You're a proud Auburn alum and have been around that program for a long time. What does he mean to Auburn and to the state of Alabama?
Well, he has his name on the field, and obviously recruited who some people believe to be the greatest college football player of all time, Bo Jackson, to the Flames. So brought a lot of wins, brought a lot of championships. Left with the program not in the best condition when Terry Bowden had to take over, but most Auburn fans would reference him as the best coach in school history. Shook Jordan obviously brought a national championship. Tuberville had undefeated season and did a lot of good things as well. But Pat Dye is sort of the legendary coach when it comes to most Auburn football fans.
Can you talk about SEC football specifically in that state in the 80s when Dye put Auburn seemingly on the map against Alabama and against the conference, winning 4 titles, what that decade meant to the program?
I think it was huge because it wasn't in great shape when he took over. And you obviously had what seemed to be an insurmountable foe on the other side of the state. And you had to have somebody counter it, and he was able to do that. He brought a physical style and a dominant recruiting style back to the Plains that made Auburn competitive, not just in the state, but really across the board in the SEC. Back in those days, Auburn played Tennessee almost every year, played Florida almost every year. That amen corner that you've heard him reference before was towards the end of the year with Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. So it's he did a lot of good things to help Auburn football be relevant and to become an SEC power.
Talking to Cole Cubelic here on Off the Bench, 104.5, 100.3, 94.7 ESPN. Cole, it's looking like student athletes may be reporting for voluntary workouts coming up on June 1st. Do you think that this goes through? I mean, LSU's planning on it. You saw the NCAA said that it's allowed for these schools to do that. What's Auburn saying, and what's your reaction to that news?
I think it's extremely positive. I think it gives me energy. It sounds like it gives you guys energy. I think when you look at the fact that there's a lot of different schools of thought right now with when players should come back, how players should come back. I think you're probably looking at July the 8th for the SEC.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to get guys back on the 1st. I think they're going to be allowed to come back on the 1st. I think we'll find that out today, obviously with the NCAA. But I think we'll find out today that the league may push that back about a week. This just kind of continues a cycle of good news. Wednesday, the NCAA says they're going to allow guys July 1st to be able to come back. July the 8th is going to be the target date for some Big Ten schools as well. I think that conference is going to meet on the 7th and give it clearance. That's why Ohio State's already planning on bringing guys back in on the 8th. I do think you'll see it's going to be on a school-by-school basis, though. I've talked to some coaches at ACC schools, multiple ACC schools, some Big 12 schools, and I don't think it's going to be an open the floodgates situation for a lot of schools. Now, I'm not referencing SEC schools here, but I think a lot of schools are going to look at who needs to come back the most first, and a lot of that's going to be dependent on what they've had access to for the last 2 months. If you have guys that have been doing band workouts and push-ups and bodyweight squats, they probably need to get in the weight room first. If you had guys who've had access to workout facilities or had home gyms or equipment at home, where they can do more realistic work, then those guys are probably not going to be cycled in as fast. But this is just at certain places. Gene Smith laid it out at Ohio State where they're not going to be able to work out more than 10 guys at a time. So that equates to about 50 guys a day. And then you look at, okay, who are you going to bring in first? Are you going to go by depth chart? Are there position groups? Because there's really a lot of different ways to spin that. You could say, I need my ones back, they need to start working together. Obviously, they're going to be able to go out and throw and do different things together in the evenings after we work out. Or do you look at it and say, I mean, T-Bob and I know this, O-line, D-line is probably best chance of being out of shape. We got to get those guys in and start conditioning them, working them now.
Yeah.
Or do you look at, we didn't have early entries in January. We didn't have spring ball. We're limited in summer. So some of the young guys that we're thinking might have to contribute this year, we don't know what we have in those guys. We need to get them in now, find out how strong they are, what their conditions like, and then watch them move around a little bit and maybe get them in front of the film or the whiteboard and see what mentally they're going to be able to handle and decide if they're really going to be able to help our football team this year. So it's going to be an interesting juggling act for some of those teams that aren't just going to allow everybody back at once.
Cole, we've talked we've talked a lot of LSU. I know I've asked you about Georgia, Florida, in the East, and I find all that very intriguing going into this year. I feel like Auburn's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle as far as our conversations go right now. And when you look at Auburn, like the feelings on last year maybe a bit mixed, right? You had Derek Brown, you had this great D-line. Maybe you didn't take full advantage, but you did have some nice big wins. I guess I'm just wondering, what are the expectations for Malzahn and Auburn going in next year? And maybe even like Bo Nix specifically. Where's the Auburn Tiger fan base at with Bo Nix right now?
I think they like him. I think there's a lot of confidence in him. I think they feel like he has a chance to be good and do some good things. But that word that you used, expectation, I think is interesting. Because I think most Auburn fans are more optimistic right now, but I don't know if that means they really anticipate a 10, 11, 12-win season. You're losing your entire offensive line. You're losing two of the best defensive linemen in school history. You're losing a couple of guys on the back end. One of them came off the board in the first round, by the way. So, I mean, you don't have a ton of experience at tailback. Tank Williams going to come in as a freshman to be the guy that carries the load. Booby Whitlow left the team, so he's not going to be a guy that you can heavily rely upon. Now, I think when you look at what you do have is experience at quarterback. I think that's going to be huge in college football this year.
Yeah.
Now, but he's also got a new offensive coordinator in Chad Morris. Well, you flip that coin over and you say, how much say is Chad Morris going to have? Is there going to be a juggling act with play calling, with the menu of plays that are going to be able to be called? How's that going to work out? So you got Seth Williams, a big number one physical receiver that has a chance to be a game breaker. So there are some positives there. I think they'll be better on the edge. I think T.D. Moultrie and Big Cat Bryant have a chance to be elite edge defenders in this league. But on the interior of that D-line, how's that going to look? The linebackers are going to be great. K.J. Britt's going to be a stud. Owen Popo is as fast of a sideline-to-sideline linebacker as there is in the league. So there are some positives. It's just the places that we normally want to see positives in this league, you don't have them, especially me and guys like you when we're talking about it. I mean, I believe championship teams are built from the inside out. And the inside of that football team on both sides of the ball has a lot of question marks.
Talking to Cole Cubelic here on Off the Bench. So if I were to ask you for a top 4 ranking of the SEC West right now, what are you giving me?
Alabama, A&M, LSU, Auburn.
Whoa, the hotness there from Cole Cubelic. So I guess then A&M over LSU. Why?
Schedule, number one. I mean, some of this is context. So you're just asking me to rank what I think the teams are right now.
Yeah, for sure.
You're asking me to rank how they're going to finish. That actually might not be that different. I think there's a lot of things about LSU to be excited about. I don't think people have done enough homework on what's actually returning. And when you potentially, outside of Trevor Lawrence, have the best player on offense and potentially have the best player on defense coming back in college football, another potential first-round hybrid safety linebacker on that side of the ball, a potential first-round nose guard. I think people just think that defense is going to be terrible, and I don't really see it that way. But similar issues along the offensive line.
Yeah.
Some question marks as far as running back. But I'll be the first one to sit here and tell you guys, I was laughing at LSU's running back situation this time a year ago. I was pointing fingers saying, that's supposed to be running back you. We're not going to lean on that guy. He's the last pick of the first round.
Yeah, right.
and one of the best running backs in college football last year. So there's a lot that we don't know. I'm not asking to. The other part is that I do all these other shows and I talk to other people and they say, what's LSU going to do at quarterback? What's the situation at quarterback going to be like? Who's the answer at quarterback? How are they going to find their guy at quarterback? And I don't understand what the question is. I mean, we know who the guy is, and why people don't want to just go ahead and say that he's going to be the guy is a little bit weird to me. But I think the schedule, the experience at quarterback, the experience along the offensive line, the elite group of tight ends, a good group of receivers, a good enough secondary to offset some of the front seven problems is why I would lean A&M over LSU right now.
In describing LSU and why they're there, why is A&M given so much respect? When you look at A&M, what do you see?
I see Kellen Mond, who has a chance to continue to grow and take another big step. People don't understand how extensive Jimbo's playbook is. And I think the longer that you're in it, the better you could be at it. That obviously goes with any playbook, but some are able to grasp a little bit faster than others. Jimbo's is extensive, man.
That's what I've heard.
And I think Kellen Mond has toughness. I think he has physicality. I think you can build some quarterback run stuff with him. I think his offensive line is going to be better this year than it's been maybe the last 2-3 years. I mean, 2 years ago with Eric McCoy, they were pretty good, but he was the only real SEC offensive lineman they had. I think they might have 2-3 really good offensive linemen this year. The group of tight ends is going to help them out so much. Weidermeyer had a great year last year. Kupp's a guy that nobody has seen, but I think is going to be someone who helps them stretch the field a little bit. And then you got Bill, who's kind of your old school throwback, big physical lineup next to the tackle tight end. So I think that group they're going to be able to do some different things with to really help the run game. You saw Spiller sort of develop into a pretty good back late in the year. Bobby Brown's going to be a stud defensive tackle in this league. Elijah Blades is really good on the back end of that defense. And I have confidence in the coaching staff. I think Coach Elko's great. I think he'll be able to help overcome some of the deficiencies with talent on that side of the ball. And we know Jimbo's offense is good. We know it works. I think this year, I think we're on the brink of maybe the least physical college football season we've ever seen. And if that's the case, I think that's a little bit advantage A&M. And to have a quarterback that's been there, that's done it, with a bunch of receivers and tight ends that have been there and done it, and then you look at look at the schedule is the main thing. I mean, they have a great chance to walk into Alabama and LSU at 10-0. Now they got to get through Auburn, they got to get through a couple other tough tests, but it's nothing like it has been the last 2-3 years. So I think the schedule is the main thing that allows me to believe that A&M has a chance to extend right now.
Cole, I see you. You're texting me about Peloton. Starting to get back on that bike a little bit.
No, he's not.
Not in the competitive sense, I don't think. But, dude, are you beating Booger McFarland consistently now?
He's running by him, bro.
It's a little bit back and forth. Wow. It's kind of like the LSU Auburn rivalry. Like he dominates me at home, and I usually win when I'm at home. So it's a little bit back and forth. But I think he got me last Saturday. I got him last Saturday, and then we rode again Tuesday, and he got me Tuesday.
Wow.
I was feeling kind of rough. I tried my first 60-minute ride this week, and that did not go well at all. That was not good.
Sounds terrible.
Cole, will the Peloton live on when gyms reopen? I mean, when you can go back to your retro way of keeping yourself in shape for television appearances, is that out, or is the Peloton all in?
I can't tell you when I'm going to feel good about going back to a gym, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it at its core, it's one of the most disgusting places on the planet anyway.
It is.
Like gym, bowling alley, airplane are the most disgusting places on this planet outside of a dumpster. So unless I can, I have to get on airplanes. I don't have to go to a gym.
Bowling is so much fun, though, dude.
Can you ever? Yeah, but I mean, can you ever picture? I'm never going bowling again. The shoes, putting my hand in that ball, it's sick.
It seems a little crazy right now, but I'm willing to see. I'm willing to let others be the guinea pigs, and if it works out, then hell yeah, I'll go bowling again. Yeah, but to be fair, I'm not going to be the one breaking through that wall.
Yeah. No, Peloton will live on, though. It's too easy. It's too convenient. The competitive part of it is great for me. So,
what's the best you've ever bowled?
It's not going away. Who knows? I couldn't even throw out a number. Nothing.
Classic.
Nothing to brag about.
I'm not a bowling guy. What about you, Jordy?
Cole, me either.
You don't even have a high score?
I don't have a high score.
176, not to brag.
I've broken a pin before. I've broken multiple pins. I'm more proud of that than any score I could ever put up.
Like how? You threw the ball so hard that it broke a pin?
Cracked the pins. Correct.
Oh my God! It's a sport of finesse. It's not just I can tell just from this conversation, you're just the meathead that just goes up there and launches. It's what Will Blackwell does.
Did they test for PEDs in bowling?
It's a 10 or 12 pound ball that you throw at standing pins. What is finesse about that?
Well, your problem is you're rocking the 12-pound ball. Look, if you want them strikes, you need to go to the 15, okay? And you need to start working on that spin. I can tell that you just line up and straight arm it as hard as you can. It's okay. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, if I would use the 15 ball, I would have had multiple rotator cuff surgeries by now. I'm not trying to do that. So.
That is true. It's not. Yes, that's fair as well.
T-Bob sounds like a man who's giving advice who's bailed off the Peloton over the last couple of months.
I bowled a 176 in college, so not to brag.
Stay healthy, Cole.
He can't pull the excuse of a newborn at home.
I know, because you have a newborn.
Our children were born like 3 days apart, so there are no more excuses.
Well, watch me, because I can throw as many excuses. I can go excuse for excuse with the best
he's got
in the
him,
business.
bro. Yeah, he can be here all day.
That's
Cole.
what I'm saying.
Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right.